All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai Hashem, or Kokodash, and the Heavenly Father, true name is Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, Hashem, in the name of Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. Those are the true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew. Barash Wakadash in the tongue. And I said, Barak to the elders and apostles, Barak and Barak, from I say Shalom. And this is a sit-down lesson of the prophecy updates as of January the 4th, 2026, I meant to say, on this Sunday afternoon. And this is from RT.com. As we can see, North Korea once again launched some ballistic missiles over the eastern shores not too far from Japan. As we've been seeing, the tensions have been heating up between North Korea versus South Korea. And this is a news article from RT.com as of January the 4th, 2026. World news from RT.com, and it reads, it says North Korea launches hypersonic missile. Photos show the test was conducted as a show of deterrence less than a day after U.S. raid on Venezuela. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un personally observed a missile drill on Sunday, designing to test readiness of the country's war deterrence, in a move that came just hours after PRN condemns recent U.S. military intervention in Venezuela. The drill, conducted early Sunday morning, local involved in a hypersonic missile launch from Pyongyang Royal Foyo Direct District. It traveled 1,000 kilometers before hitting a target in the Sea of Japan, according to the Korean news agencies. The KCANA state media forms the test as a operational evacuation of the country's strategic weapons, while not explicitly linking the test to Venezuela. Pyongyang closely juxtaposed the two events. It says this messaging around the time of the launch of the foreign minister has sharply denounced the U.S. actions in Venezuela as the most serious form of encroachment in sovereignty. Any proof of Washington's role and brutal nature oversees the launch. Kim Jong-un's Kalel exercised a very important strategic task to maintain expanding the powerful and reliable nuclear deterrence. It says our active including aims to gradually pull the nuclear war deterrence on a high defense base while it's necessary, exemplified by the recent geopolitical crisis and complacent international events. He stated, according to the KCNA, it says Kim Jong-un praised the launch of the unit for playing the prelude of the first. It says the praise of the launch for the playing of the prelude of the first combat drill in the New Year, extending the New Year greetings to the country's missile forces, calling for a reliable shield for defending sovereignty and security. It says the Providence, Pyongyang has long insisted its weaponry program was justified in acts of self-defense, focusing on developing and increasing sophisticated hypersonic missiles. It has accused the U.S., South Korea, and Japan of undermining regional security through joint military exercise and calling them the attempt to creating an Asian version of NATO. So as we see, tensions are really heating up between North Korea, South Korea, Japan, and the United States. As North Korea, Kim Jong-un, he launched his missiles once again, in the first time ever since November, last time I checked. And recently, And recently, for the past week and a half or so, consistently, of the two launches of missiles once again. So as tensions are been heating up throughout the years and recently between North Korea and South Korea, Japan, and the United States. It says Zelensky nominates defense minister for a new post. Climate extreme claims responsible for blackouts, affecting 50,000 households. It says the death toll rise in Ukrainian drone strike on Russia's New Year's Eve party. Right, so Russia-Ukraine situation is only going to continue to intensify, as been mentioned at countless of times. It says China slams homogenic U.S. attack on Venezuela. Right, that's a sign of wars, rumors of wars. And another sign of wars and rumors of wars, as we seen that latest situation the day before yesterday, that the United States armies enter Venezuela using several attacks as they capture President Maduro and his wife as well too. As I believe they're gonna get indicted Monday. I believe last time I checked. Let's see, they over there in New York, Manhattan. They're gonna get indicted. And now you got the new president. I believe she was a vice president because she was the vice president of Maduro. Now, I think the judge of Venezuela ordered her to be, the immediate president over there in Venezuela. And then you had the president of Venezuela, and she was saying that she's going to do whatever it takes to protect their oil protections. And then you had the Trump administration after they captured Maduro. He was saying that they're gonna run Venezuela in their oil productions until it be a peaceful transitional power. Now they got a transitional power with the new president, because she was the vice president. Now she's the interim president of Venezuela. So we're gonna see how this plays out. So is she gonna respond back and tell Trump that she's gonna take over the oil production in her country? And it says I just want to add a side note to that. And this is a news article on January the 3rd, 2026 from World News, and it reads, it says Trump warns interim Venezuela leader a bigger price after U.S. siege Maduro. It says acting president Delcy Rodriguez has vowed to defend the country's natural resources from plummeting. It says President Donald Trump has threatened Venezuela's interim president and Delcy Rodriguez with a bigger price than one paid by her recent captured predecessor, Nicolas Maduro. It says in the early hours on Saturday, it says American forces swooped over the Venezuela capital of Caracas and captured Maduro and his wife and took them back to the U.S., where they will soon face. It says they face charges on orchestrating the that word, which I'm not going to say. It says Nicolas Maduro's absence. Venezuela's Supreme Court has granted Rodriguez, who served as a vice president, presidential powers and orders her immediately assumes in office in acting capacity. However, if she does not do so, if she doesn't do what's right, she is going to pay a very big price. It says probably bigger than Maduro. Trump told The Atlantic in a phone interview on Sunday. In the meantime, U.S. will run Venezuela after carrying out regime change operations in oil-rich South American country, Trump said on Saturday. We're going to run the country until such as we can to do a safe and proper transition, Trump told the media from the Mar-a-Lago resort. We are there now. We are going to stay until such a proper transition can take place. And it says, we are going to have our large oil companies, the biggest anywhere in the world, going to spend billions of dollars fix the badly broken infrastructure, the oil and infrastructures that start making money for the country. And we're going to take stage seconds and such large attack if we need to do so. So we're preparing to do a second wave, Trump's added. It says Venezuela's interim minister, uh, Delio Sadio Cabello Wando, has told the country's troops to trust the leadership, while foreign minister. It says while yep, it says Venezuela's internal minister has told country troops to trust the leadership, while foreign minister Yvonne Gallo has accused Washington of seeking to gain control of the Latin American nation's resources. In a statement, Moscow has condemned the U.S. aggression, calling it idiot clarification of Maduro's whereabouts, and limit that the ideological hostile has trumped over the business like pragmatism. Bring out that Matthew's, the 24th chapter. This is Matthew's 24, verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, right, with the ongoing tension between Venezuela and the United States. Now you got the interim president in there, Decay Rodriguez. Now Trump threatens her as well too. If she don't do the right things, he says gonna do even bigger response than they did with Maduro. So we're gonna see how that plays out. But best believe she's gonna fight. She's gonna fight back. She's gonna respond back. She's gonna fight back. I mean, because after that situation, I mean, because you think about it, you think Venezuela is not going to respond back after that, potentially of another second round of attacks and potential boots on the ground from the United States. Because you think about it, it's their oil and it's their oil, their resources. Now that you got the Trump was talking about to take full control over it. I mean, that kind of really don't make any sense. I mean, you captured the guy, his wife. Now you should just leave out of their country. Let the president of Venezuela, the new interim president, in their leadership, let them take care of their own country and let them hold their oil and their resources and, just get them out of their country. So, but Esau, Nero 47, you know how he is. He wanted to take control of everything and have everybody under his control and his authority, So that shows that this is the modern day of Nero, Esau, Edom, But I just want to add a side note to that. This is Matthew's 24 and Matthew's 24 verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Right, that's what we're hearing, wars and rumors of wars. Tensions between North Korea, South Korea, Japan, and the United States. The tensions have been heating up from last year and all the way to now, down there in Central and South America. And the intensity heating between Russia and Ukraine, the European Union and NATO versus Belarus and Russia. So these are modern day signs of wars and rumors of wars. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, right? China versus Taiwan, China versus the Philippines, China versus Japan. So these are signs of wars and rumors of wars. It says, ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must first come to pass, but it is not yet. Matthew's 24 verse 7, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, which goes into Ephesus. And there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. Right, so we see in the latest pestilence been increasing. This measles outbreak in the United States, cases have been increasing in a very long time, for the first time in 20 plus years, last time I checked. And then you got the flu cases are increasing. So we're starting to see the Heavenly Father visiting this earth with these famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places, and the nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom that Yahushua spoke about. And this is the book of Luke 21 verse 25. As we've been having those recent protests has been taking place over there in Iran. It says, and there shall be signs in the sun and the moon and the stars upon the earth, distress of nations with complexity much one. Right, because we're seeing seditions, uprisings, uproars with the world. We're seeing nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, moderate ruler against moderate ruler. And we're seeing these signs of the sun and the moon and the stars upon the earth as well too. So that's going to go continue to increase. And this is the book of St. Mark, chapter 3, and verse 24. It says, and if a kingdom be divided, except the kingdom not stand. Right, so if a kingdom be divided, except the kingdom not stand. So that's only going to continue to increase. St. Mark, chapter 3, verse 25. It says, and if a house be divided, except the house not stand. Right, so if a house be divided, except the house not stand. That's this is verse 26. And if Satan cast out Satan, be divided, except the house cannot. It says, and if Satan rise up against Satan, be divided, except the house shall escape. It says, if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, cannot stand have any. Right, so we're going to see that increasing. Precept to that. This is the Gospel of Luke 12, verse 25. It says, and Yahushua knew their thoughts, and he said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. Right, that's what it's saying. Verse 26. Matthew 12, verse 26, and if Satan cast out Satan and be divided himself, how should his kingdom stand? Right, so if Satan be divided himself, how should his kingdom stand? And that's what it's saying. It's the Gospel of Luke 12 and verse 51. Luke 12, verse 51. It says, suppose ye that I come to give peace on earth, I take neighbor and division. Right, that's what we're seeing. Yeah, just like Yahushua says in the Gospel of Luke 12, verse 51. So we're going to be seeing more and more wars and rumors of wars, nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom. This is Jeremiah. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, and verse 46. At least your heart faint, you fear for the woman that should be heard in the land, and a woman shall come both 1 year after that, and another year shall come a woman of land, ruler against ruler. Right, so that's what we're seeing. We're seeing modern day ruler against modern day ruler. Nation against nation, kingdom against kingdom, just like this happened in the days of Jeremiah. We're in those days once again. So we're going to see the increase of building up a 1 year after another year, a rumor increasing. And after that, it's going to be a land, ruler against ruler. And that's what we're seeing. So that's going to go continue to increase. Get back to that Matthew 13. This is Mark 13 and verse 7. It says, but when you shall hear wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. Right, so this is modern day wars and rumors of wars is only going to continue to increase. Be ye not troubled, for such things must need be. Right, this must need be, because this is prophesied. This is prophesied to happen, as Yahushua spoke about this. And ye shall hear wars, and ye shall hear wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must first come to pass, but it is not yet. Right, so it's going to come to pass, but not the change yet. So on a daily basis, as we in the year 2026, we're going to see more and more wars and rumors of wars are increasing between these armies of nations. This is St. Mark chapter 13, verse 7. For nations shall rise, St. Mark 13, verse 8, I meant to say. It says, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. Let's go to the ethnos. And there shall be earthquakes in diverse places, and there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginning of sorrows. Right, just like it says in Matthew, the 24th chapter. These just the beginning of sorrows. That's only going to continue to increase. And that's what we're seeing, As it says again, Trump warns interim Venezuelan leader of bigger price after U.S. siege Maduro. The acting president Rodriguez has vowed to defend the country's natural resources, right, which is oil and air resources that they currently have. So they're going to defend it. They're going to do whatever it takes. And I believe you had the prime minister who was telling, to trust the president, the new interim president, and trust the current power that Venezuela has. As the prime minister of Venezuela was telling the Venezuela army soldiers to trust in the power of the president, the new interim president, Rodriguez. It says Russia condemns U.S. aggression against Venezuela. Right, because you got Russia, they allies with Venezuela too. Check out some more news articles. It says a Danish prime minister urged U.S. to stop threatening to take control of Greenland. Right, because I believe not too long ago, I think it was like last year. Yeah, I think it was like last year. You had one of the Greenland military had their military exercise drills over there in Greenland. To protect their to protect the what's they call that to protect Greenland in that area. Miami mayor calls for Trump to immediately reinstate TSP for Venezuelans. I don't know if that's going to happen. It says UK and France bomb ISIS armed bunkers in Syria. Right, because you've been seeing a lot of activities been heating up over there in Syria. So we're definitely in that Isaiah 17 verse 1 of future prophecy. It says North Korea said it test. It says North Korea says it tested hypersonic missiles to deter enemies. Right, their enemies is South Korea, Japan, and the United States. As tensions between North Korea and South Korea have been heating up throughout the years and recently. That's another sign of wars and rumors of wars. Trump says U.S. needs Greenland for defense. Most likely, Greenland they gonna take their sovereignty. It says at least 30 were unalive at the gunman raid village in northern Nigeria. Right, so these what you call wars of people war. It says South Korean president visits China following Beijing's rising tensions with Japan over Taiwan. Russia and China condemns U.S. capture of Nicolas Maduro, say they support his regime in Venezuela. Right, since you got this new interim president, they're going to support her as well too, as they condemn the United States of entering Venezuela and capturing Maduro and his wife. It says Rubio vows to eliminate Hezbollah, Iran's operations from Venezuela after Maduro's capture. Right, because you do got influence from the proxy groups of Hezbollah and pro-Iran groups over there in Venezuela as well too. So this is probably not the last time that the United States potentially might do some more strikes over there in that area. It says Saudi-backed forces, regimes control Yemen's Houthi after days of airstrikes. Another sign of wars, rumors, wars, and uproars people will. It said thousands of Berlin faced no electricity for days after a far left climate activist attacked power grid. Uproars the people of the world. Yep, this is from the NewYorkSun.com. It says thousands in Berlin faces no electricity for days after a far left climate activist attacked power grid. The groups behind the attack are accusing knowingly endanger human lives. Oh, I think you gotta subscribe to that. Bring up that Luke 21 verse 25. And this is the book of Luke 21 and verse 25. It says, there shall be signs in the sun and the stars and in the moon, and upon the earth distress of nations will perplexity rich one. Right, this is a prime example of wars in people world. As I said, thousands of Berlin faced no electricity for days after a far left climate activist attacks power grid. Bring up that second edge of the ninth chapter, then I'm closing out. This is second Edges, chapter 9, verse 3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes in the upwards people world. Right, so we're going to see more increase in earthquakes in the upwards people world. So with that, hopefully this prophecy update was edifying as of January the 4th, 2026 on this Sunday afternoon. So with that, I would like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai Bashem, Karkadash. And the Heavenly Father, true name is Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai Bashem, Karkadash. And the Heavenly Father, true name is Yahweh. And His only begotten Son, Mashiach Yahushua. Those are the true names in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, the Lashon Kodash tongue. I say Barak Thumb to the elders and apostles, while Akim and Akbaf. To next time, I would say Shalom.